Do not let society coerce you into complacency. If you feel that you need to start over 50 times before you figure out what it is that you love to do, babes, start over those 50 times, okay? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to NoActuallyTho, the podcast. My name is Courtney, and today we are going to be talking about the concept of there is no limits to starting over in life. I don't know who came up with the rule that there's only supposed to be one lane, one direction, one vision that you're supposed to be taking in life, but I feel like they have everything messed up. That concept is such an outdated concept that I feel like on a day-to-day basis, I see the older generation hold on to. The amount of people that I come across who literally tell me that they've been at a company for 15 years, they've been here for 20 years, they've been doing the same as that job for that long, honestly is mind-blowing to me. Now, I know society has changed and the way that corporate America is not necessarily the way that it was in the past, which I think is why this mindset is so outdated. But I feel like honestly, it is so necessary for us to understand that you have no limitations out here in this world. We grew up hearing the same old script every single day. You go to school, go to college, get a job in a field, and then you work that job for 20 years until you retire. They gave us this dream. They gave us this vision that, oh, life is supposed to be this straight line. It's supposed to be this, and then you follow it all the way to the end, and that's it. But personally, for me, I feel like that's not realistic. That is not aligned in how we are as human beings. We are ever evolving, and the person that we are 10 years ago or going to be 10 years from now is different than the person that we are today. I feel like we should be allowed to just wake up one day and say, you know what, this is no longer for me and I want to try something completely different. But society tries to sell you this thing of like, oh, you are unstable or it's, guaranteed instability by you going from one thing to the next. When I feel like that's not honestly true and that's not the case. I feel like if you prepare yourself the correct way, there is nothing wrong with going from being a freaking nurse to being an engineer the next day if you want to be an engineer. We are just truly not one-dimensional beings. I feel like sometimes people think like, oh, there's this sense of like failure that comes over you by trying something new. Like, oh, you weren't able to successfully do this one thing, so that's why you're going to this next thing. And honestly, sometimes that is true and sometimes that is the case. In my instance, I literally have started over so many times. The best example I can give you is literally YouTube, you guys. I've had this channel for years. I did a million different things, a million different concepts on this channel before. And then now I decided I wanted to start podcasts. I wanted to start speaking about things that I just feel like, needs to be talked about and that people really need to kind of understand and kind of come to terms with, because I feel like with therapy that I have now, there's certain things that it's like I beat myself up for, and I'm just like, we should not be beating ourselves up for these things. But my point is I've tried a million different things. I've created a million different channels. I've had a million different jobs, you guys, and I have no regrets towards it because honestly, I think that I take all of that knowledge that I got from all those different jobs and I apply it to what it is that I do now. I apply that knowledge to how I operate. And I honestly think it's amazing to get so many different, pieces of information and being able to utilize that information that you got from different jobs and you got from different situations in your day-to-day life. I feel like it makes you a very intelligent person. It also helped my understanding of like who I was as a person. I feel like you don't know what it is that you truly want to do. You don't know if something is for you until you actually start to do it, until you actually are in that position and you realize like, this isn't for me, or, oh, I like this aspect, but I would like it more if it was like this. And then you're able to explore those options and look online and see what other types of different jobs or careers are within that realm. I feel like there's this misconception of like, oh, there's this certain age that you need to have everything figured out. And I'm here to say, as someone who is about to turn 29 years old, babes, I literally still to this day do not have anything figured out. And when I say anything, I mean like anything figured out, sis. I barely know what I want to eat for dinner. There is nothing wrong with being at a point in your life, whether it's now, whether it's later, and feeling as if you don't have it figured out. Because 9 times out of 10, honestly, nobody has it figured out. I feel like we all literally just go along with life. We are literally here day by day, taking it step by step, trying to figure out this crazy thing called life. I don't think anybody is going to ever have it figured out. And I think that's just this dream that is sold that like eventually we're going to get to this point where everything's going to be figured out and everything's going to be whatever, and you're going to just know. And I feel like that's not really that accurate, to tell you the truth. We are consistently evolving. We change every single day. Our interests change, our jobs change. Society in general evolves. And as society evolves and the culture surrounding the society evolves, things are going to forever be changing. That's why I was like, I don't think anybody ever has it fully figured out, because you can have it figured out in this time era, and then the next time era, babes, you don't have it figured out for that time area. You had to figure out for the last one, and now you have to evolve into this one. I think one of the biggest things for me that I always see for people, especially for the older generation, I feel like the younger generation really embraces the concept of change and really doesn't have, I don't want to say, they don't have as much fear when it comes to like, you know, making a rash decision to be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore or change it. I see it more so from the older generation is that fear. The fear of instability, I think, is a large part of like not switching up what it is that you want to do. A lot of people are scared to start over because of how it will look. A lot of people care about, you know, how would it look for me to sit up here and do a job for 12 years and just decide, you know, on the 12th year that I'm over this and I want to do something completely different. You know, a lot of people look at that like, well, why would you start over? You know, because bringing instability, and especially with the job, you know, the era that we're in right now when it comes to job hunting and job searching and anything of that nature, it kind of looks crazy because of how hard and how difficult things are. However, I just feel like I'm one of those people that believe if you structure things the correct way, meaning that you prepare yourself the correct way, there is absolutely nothing wrong with making a career switch or just changing up what it is that you want to do in life. I think what makes it crazy or what makes it scary is when you make the rash decision to just up one day and decide today's the day that I'm going to leave everything and have no plan in sight. At that point, yes, I think that is something that can be fearful. However, do I think it's something that is the end all of end all? No. You know how many people pick up their lives, move to an entire different country, an entire different state, and literally figure it out? Because guess what? When you put yourself in that situation, you have no choice but to figure it out. You know you don't want to be living on the street. You know you don't want to be broke forever. So what are you naturally going to do? You're going to hustle. You're going to figure it out. You're going to get this, that, and the third job, and you're going to, you know, do what you have to do. In the meantime, I think the important part about it is just making sure that it's something that you enjoy. I think as I get older and as I work all of these different jobs, you know, going through all those different jobs and all those different experiences, I truly have learned the importance of enjoying what it is that you do. And I feel like naturally, as we evolve as people, if I've been doing something for 10, 15 years, naturally, after 10 years or 15, I might not like this anymore. I might have loved it when I started, but because I'm a different person 15 years later, I may not enjoy the monotony of doing something like that every single day since I've done it for so long. And I feel like there is absolutely nothing wrong with deciding, you know, that you want to do something or you want to change up something. And one thing that I've always noticed is just like, what is for you is for you. I've seen so many people and I have so many different friends who do so many different things, you guys. I have friends that are full-time bartenders. I have friends that are nurses. I have friends that are, you know, in the business world. I have friends who are in the military, et cetera, who do a million different things. And one thing that I've always learned is that it is so important for you to do what's for you. And what's for you may not make sense to anybody else. You know, people look at people sometimes who are full grown adults doing, you know, what they consider smaller jobs like bartending or whatever. And like, how are you doing that as a full-time job? Like, shouldn't you get a corporate job where you're doing this, that, and the thing? You know, there's that societal expectation of like, oh, you're supposed to be doing this specific thing or whatever. However, little do people know, baby, them servers and them bartenders be making bank. Some of them make more than corporate people do, and it's still be able to get health benefits and things of that. You know, it's important that you do what you love to do. If you're somebody who is very hospitality based, you love talking to people, maybe a corporate job is not the job for you. Maybe you should work in like a hotel, or you should be this, that, and the third. My point is there's nothing wrong with trying multiple things. I think it's so important to try this and try that and try this and try that. I feel like that's one of the things that I regretted the most in my early 20s is not giving myself the opportunity to explore multiple avenues. I was consistently in a position of trying my hardest to branch into my major. So my major was like business IT, and I was having the hardest time trying to get into that particular lane. And I think I was just consistently always told that you need to like, this is what you need to do. These are the jobs you need to have. This is da. I never even considered really looking outside of that kind of pocket and looking at the different options within that I could have had done. And I regret it because like now I'm getting a certification in project management, which is within that realm still. It's not exactly that, but it's something that I'm like, maybe I'll be more interested in this. You know, I'm not 100% sure because realistically, you're never going to be 100% sure until you actually try it. But, I kind of wish when I was younger, I looked into the different avenues a little bit more and understood, like, maybe try this right now. And if you don't like that, then maybe go back to this, or maybe you can go here or go there or go there. I feel like it is so important to take on that mentality of like, it is better for you to fail at something than for you to never try something. The satisfaction that you're going to get from trying to do something and trying to go on a certain route and not succeeding at it is more important than you never trying it and sitting in complacency because it's just comfortable. Life isn't comfortable. Growth isn't comfortable. Growth is quite uncomfortable. I had this conversation with my therapist. Growth is quite uncomfortable. And it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be complacent. It's not supposed to always be this little comfort place. I feel like eventually you get into a space where you get used to where you are and it gets into a situation of comfortability. But initially, when you are growing and evolving as a person, it's going to be uncomfortable because you're so used to sitting in this one spot that when you finally have to take the steps to get out of that spot, it's going to be like, oh, what am I doing? You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to try to self-sabotage yourself and say, oh, I'm crazy. I shouldn't be doing this. Like I have this is good. I've been doing this for years and I know and da-da-da. That's the excitement of life. I'm one of those people that's like, do it all. Do it all. If you want to try this, that, do it all. And I think the one thing that really changed my mentality on this is I seen this video. I think it was a TikTok or something, social media. And it was this person who was like, I think in their 60s. And they talked about how they went to school and they were, let's say for instance, I can't remember exactly, but they were like in tech, let's say for like 15, 20 years. And then one day they decided they want to be a nurse. And so they went to school and they did this in a third and they became a nurse. And I think that was such a eye-opening like experience for me to read that because you are literally always taught like, you go to school, you do this on the third, and that's what you're supposed to do. So like, it was so amazing to me to like, be like, dang, like you're like 40 years old and you went all the way back to school to be a nurse, became a nurse. And you like, almost like you lived two lives, because we're always taught like your life should only be consistent of one thing. And I think that opened up my eyes, which is why I really wanted to make this video. Cause it's just like, we are fed all the time that, oh, this is what you should do. And that's it. That's all. And in reality, you can do whatever the hell it is you want to do. If you want to start over 1,000,000 times, if you want to have 1,000,000 different jobs, if you want to be a daggone fashion designer one day and a rocket scientist the other day, you can. You have the freedom to do so. And I feel like it's okay to want to change. It's okay to be uncomfortable during that change. That's normal. Starting over doesn't mean you're starting from ground zero. Like I was saying earlier, you take all of this experience that you got, you take all of these skills that you learned and are able to apply them to whatever it is that you're doing. A lot of people don't realize skills from every job that you have, some of those skills are transferable into other positions. Like it may not be directly aligned with what it is that you're doing, but a lot of the jobs look for very similar skills that are required at every single job. You're not starting off at zero. It may feel like you're starting off at zero, but you're not. You have knowledge, you have skills, you have experience there that is going to help assist you in this new journey that you're taking. I just personally feel like the world is too big to limit yourself to doing one thing. You have your entire life to do so many things, to see so many things, to limit yourself to something so minuscule. Of course, if you're doing something that you absolutely love, babes, live it up. Enjoy it. Live in it. I love seeing people who are genuinely doing what they love to do because you can just see the life in them. You can just see and feel the difference of that person in comparison to somebody who isn't doing something that they like to do. Like for instance, for me, like when I do content creation or I'm traveling and doing this and that, I am full of life. I truly can say that. Compared to like when I'm doing like my typical 9-to-5 or whatever, like that drains me and this brings life into me. So it's like you are a totally different person when you're doing something that it is that you genuinely love. At the end of the day, what I really want everyone to take from this video is that there is no limitations. There is no expiration date on reinventing who you are. If you want to do something and you want to go into a different avenue and change, you have all the rights to do so. Every single time that you make a decision to go on a different avenue, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing growth. You're choosing evolution. And it's honestly one of the bravest things that you can truly do in life. And for some people, that may be right now. For some people, it may be later. If you feel like right now is your season and that you're shifting and that you're evolving and that, you know, you just feel like you're in a place of uncertainty and you want to try new things, this might be your sign that, hey, it's time to do so. But I hope you guys enjoyed the second episode of NoActuallyTho, you guys. I definitely want to start doing some longer videos. So if you guys have anything that you would like to speak about or anything that you've been struggling with lately, comment down below because we might be able to make it into a little video. But if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go down there and of course press the subscribe button because we have videos coming weekly on here about all different types of topics. You guys, we talk about life, dating, we talk about, you know, self-improvement, becoming a better us, and just evolving overall in life. Make sure you hit the bell button because that will give you notification of when I do post a video. Like the video, of course, and comment below and let me know, what have you done? What changes have you seen in life? Are you feeling like you're about to go through a shift? If you did go through a shift, how did that go? Like, what is it that you did? I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are very curious and would love some advice down in the comment section because, like we said, it's not an easy journey, but sometimes it's a necessary one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week in our next video. Bye, guys.